Hey everyone, thanks for tuning back in to mattsteinwede.com. Alright, there's been a topic that's created a few questions, and it's about pricing. So what I want to do is do a video on this today, but I'm going to read an email that I got from you, not from you, from somebody. His name's Mark, and I want to read this to you because it sort of summarizes exactly what this video is about. Hope you're well. I just wanted to ask a quick question, if that's okay. From the MSC, so the Matt Steinwede community, and your videos, I've adapted my listing presentation to the format you've introduced, explaining the main elements and so on. I've attached, he's attached how he's designed it. I didn't see that bit before. Okay, I discuss price first. This was something that was discussed in the comments on one of your videos, discussed in the comments on one of your videos. Last week I did the complete salesperson's course, and Lee basically suggested it was best to do price last. His reasoning was that people may switch off once you've given them a price. You need to build, I should be able to read quicker, shouldn't I? You need to be able to build your credibility by presenting and get people on side before delivering price. He also mentioned that you did price first due to your workload, and it allowed you to quickly determine if you should spend a lot of time with the appraisal or not. If you had the time to give me any feedback on it, that'd be great, blah, blah, blah. I want to touch on this, all right? First, I want to say that everybody is different. Different things work for different people. Lee is a brilliant salesperson and also a great trainer. So his advice is fantastic. You know, whatever advice he gives you, sensational. Take it on board and make it work for you. Every bit of advice that you get given from people that are doing things a certain way, you don't have to literally do it, but just take the bits that work for you, get a feel for it, if it's going to fit within what you do, and adapt it to suit yourself, and then use it. So, like for instance, a lot of the agents in Sydney, they talk about method first, and they talk about price very little. I sort of used to do that, but what I found, especially when the marketplace changed, and the marketplace sort of went through that changing period where it did slow up a bit. You know, properties weren't moving as quick. So what I worked out is, one, I wanted to see what the owner's motivation was like, but two, I did want to get to the point of roughly where I think the property sat. Now, I want to put brackets around that also, because even though I talk about price first off in all houses, a lot of what I do is based on your core area. So I actually like being the guy that spends a lot of time talking about price, educating owners at a listing presentation, really working through what the marketplace is doing, what the competing homes are doing, where they should position their home potentially, because whether you're auction or private treaty, whatever it may be, you still have to price a home. See, I like to give the marketplace clarity when I can, when I'm marketing a property, whether it's auction or private treaty. And the only way to do that is to have your price aligned with where the marketplace would see that it connected well. So the other thing I like doing in an owner's home is when I sit there and it's like, okay, where to now? You've done the tour of the home, you sit down. I actually like to say, well, let's talk about price. And they change. They sort of go, cool, okay, let's do that. I think when we go to an owner's home, a lot of the time they're really sizing us up. You know, do they want to do business with us? You know, are we going to be a typical salesperson? You know, what's the energy like around us as people and in the meeting? I like to remove all that and make the energy connected as quick as I can, be transparent, and not just transparent, but I guess I want to get to what's important to them. That's more so what I mean than transparent, I guess, because I want to get to the information that they're going to find useful, and it's going to get a lot of connectivity going in the meeting straight away. And I think price does that. This is just my opinion. That's all it is. It's not how you should do it. You shouldn't really go off and change it because Matt does it this way. But it's taken me many years to sort of work out something that really works for me. Do owners shut down if the price isn't what they're thinking? No, not really. Not always, but it'll give me a sense of, sometimes it happens, but it'll give me a sense of, are we on the same page? Are we really singing the same tune here? Now, I can get off price very quickly also, and I might use a wider range sometimes if I'm going to auction a home. So if I think it should be auctioned, I'll come up with some comparables that maybe, I'll go pretty prepared to most listing presentations if I really want to secure them. So I'll have some comparables that could vary quite a lot, and then I'll talk about the mechanics of price and how price actually is built a lot of the time, and I'll move to method. But what I like to do first is get a sense of where they're thinking, where they're feeling. What do they really think the home is worth? Because I think that's a great foundation to work from for the rest of your presentation. If you can connect on that point really well, or you have a logical sequence from that on how to achieve their price, and you've had quite a healthy discussion around price, I think the rest of the presentation really gels well. That actually get more engaged if you can get that first bit right. Because they're going to shut down whether it's at the beginning or the end. So if you have differing opinions on that, they're still going to shut down if you don't handle it right. So here's another thing. So, and I've done this in the community, but when I price a home, and especially in my core area, I'll take this type of folder, and I'll really work through. I don't price their home a lot of the time. I don't sit there and just say, look, I think it's worth $650. That's it. I mean, that's craziness. I work through strategically what else is going on in the marketplace right now. This is why I might spend half an hour on price. I might spend as long as it takes on price, but the discussion is more around getting them engaged in the market, getting them engaged in how does their home sit against everything else that's on the market right now. That's why the discussion takes a while sometimes. That's why I like to do it first, because if you can get that, if you can start working on that point together and you get a really nice synergy around that part of it and come up with a likely range together, because quite often owners price their home for me because I bring all the evidence and I sort of say this is sold for this and this sold for this and and we'll bring up some other properties that they're thinking, and I'll really understand their reference points, and then I can come up with a likely range that I think still incorporates them if they're not way out of the park. If they're way out of the park, I'll just tell them, like, I just can't see what you're hoping for. But they won't tell you that until you give them a likely range based on some really good comparables. This is why I do price first. Now, I know there's a lot of training techniques and all different things out there to say do price last, but I reckon it's one of the most important factors when you are dealing with an owner first off. Because part of the reason you're there is to help them price their home. Then if you can get sort of an agreement on that, yeah, okay, but let's say it's off. Let's pick that scenario for a minute. So let's say they're thinking 900, you're thinking 750 to 850, and they're thinking 900 or maybe even more. That will come out because you'll be able to see it when you're using the reference points in the marketplace with some really well prepared material. So you're saying, look, this sold for this. They'll actually have body language that backs away. And then let's say it gets to 850, and I say, how do you think your home compares to this? And I say, look, well, we think ours is better. So you're thinking more than that? You're thinking like 9 or something like that, are you? And they'll say, yeah, we're thinking somewhere around there. Okay, and then you could probably say, because you've engaged with some sort of price, because they won't tell you if you ask them most of the time. Sometimes they will, but most of the time they won't. And then if you say, how does your home compare to this? We think ours is better. So are you thinking sort of 9 or somewhere around there, or where are you thinking there? Then they'll ask you, because you've taken the time to show them the logical evidence around them. Let's say they're thinking a bit more here, or let's say they're thinking here and you're thinking here. They're not wrong at all. They're not wrong. You've got to get a sense of, is it achievable? And do they want to sell also? Because sometimes people really want to sell, but they also want to see if this price is out here. So what method will best suit understanding that? Then I just move straight across to method, and I'll talk about, whether auction or private treaty will best serve them in helping them understand how to create the right energy in the marketplace, because price is related directly to market energy. So that's probably where I'll move the conversation very quickly. But if I can get an agreement on, yeah, we're thinking that as well, fantastic. You've got a very high chance of listing this property now if the rest of the presentation flows and you can show them why you're the agent. That's why I do price first, because it creates a really strong foundation and gives me a real sense of where they're thinking. Are they motivated? Are they not? Are they being realistic? Do they really want to move? Are they just price hunting? Then I can size up, can I help them? That's why I do it. But it's not the only way to do it for sure. You have to do something that works for you. Biggest piece of advice I can give you, I know I say it quite a bit in some of the comments on the site, you have to do what works for you, because I know agents that do totally the other way that I do it, and they list heaps of business. They list heaps. So you've got to feel a resonance in here that you're super prepared, you can give them the right guidance, you have a structure in your brain on where you're going to go with this, and you know if you get some objections or whatever else, you can take it to the next place if you need to, and hopefully overcome that with the tools that you have or the method that you have or whatever. So because we're selling property price is totally subjective. You can't tell how much a house is worth, but what you can do is work out a likely foundation of pricing, and at least step into the marketplace with some really solid evidence on why this home is worth that much. If it's worth more, that's just going to come down to the emotional attachment of that particular buyer or buyers. Here's something else I quite often say. I say often that there's two prices for this home. There's this price, which is probably the logical evidence-based price, which I'm showing you today, but there's also an emotional price here that, because your home's a little bit singular, I could see someone paying, $50,000 or $100,000 more than somebody else, potentially, if you found that person in the early stages. And I might talk about that. So I stay very neutral. I say this is what the evidence is showing me, and this is what maybe potentially we could reach if we found the right buyer or buyers along the way that become really emotionally attached to your home, but we can't guarantee that figure. All we can work on today is the evidence in the marketplace right now, as we would if we were valuers. And we're not valuers, but this is the sort of statistics and this is the sort of evidence that they work off, so why not let's look at it together right now and come up with a likely position for your property. Would that be okay? That's the sort of thing that I talk about. So anyway, first, last, in the middle, wherever you want to do it, just try different places for it. See how it fits for you. Get a feel for whether it's for you or not, and then run with that. That's the best advice I can give you on it. All right, there's no right and wrong with it. It's just whatever fits for you. All right, I hope that helps a little bit. Question of the day. I really liked, bugger, I can't remember who said it now. Someone in today's post said it would be great, instead of the question of the day, it would be great if people could ask me questions and then I can answer them. I don't know how that would work functionality wise, but maybe that he meant more in the posts underneath. I don't know, but I thought it was a great question, because I would love to answer questions for people along the way on different videos, whatever it may be. So let me know if that works for you. If that's a good idea, I'd be happy to do that. So Mark, thanks so much for emailing me. Great questions, and I hope you liked the video and it sort of answered a few of those questions you had in there. All right, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and as always, helping make this real estate world a much better place. See you on the next video.